Good morning, welcome. I think maybe that piece was chosen specifically to show off what the organ can do now that it's had some repairs. That was amazing. Thank you, Diana, and to everyone who helped make that happen. I'm Jillian Westerfield. I'm the Associate Minister here at Lake Street Church. Reverend Dr. Wolf is taking a little break, much deserved after Holy Week, so I'll be leading the service and preaching today. Unfortunately, Julian, Andrew, anyone else from my class who's here today, there is no Sunday school for our grade. But I will try to make it a really fun service. I apologize for that. Everyone else is having Sunday school as usual. I would quickly call your attention to the very back of your bulletin. At the bottom, you see the Native Lands and Reparations Acknowledgement. I think it's really important for you to take a look at that and read through it. It acknowledges several different points of oppression that we've been a part of historically and that we continue to wrestle with. So I'd like everyone to just be aware of that. I have an announcement from the SB3C committee. I hope I got that right. There is a meeting in the parlor immediately after the service with lunch provided. It's going to be one of those sessions where you can talk about our ongoing relationship with Second Baptists and wrestle with some of those questions. So in the parlor immediately after the service. And now I have an announcement from Amber, who is our associate pastor for youth programming.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm a little taller. One of my other hats is that I work for the American Baptist Churches of Metro Chicago, and this year in particular, I'm their camp administrator for summer camp. And so if you haven't seen this flyer or received this postcard at home, I have more. Come find me. But this summer, from July 31st through August 6th, as a region, we're going back to summer camp. If those of you who were around before my time remember Camp Grow, this is a new iteration of that. We sold Camp Grow a few years ago, but now we use the endowment from the Camp Grow funds to go to other camps. This year, our camp is at Camp Alexander Mack in Milford, Indiana, where we went last year. It's a beautiful camp on a lake. I know Steve Haviland has been there, Jim Bell has been there. There's archery, canoeing, swimming, a zip line, climbing wall, nature hikes, observation tower. There's all sorts of really fun stuff. It's for ages 6 to 18. So we have a wide range of kids that go, and it's an incredibly diverse group of kids from Chicago. So it's all youth from American Baptist churches here in Chicago, but they're from all of our caucuses, the African American caucus, our Asian collaborative, our Hispanic caucus, and our Euro multicultural caucus. So it is an incredibly fun, multilingual group of kids. We learn a lot from each other. We have a great time. And I really hope to see all of our young people there, as well as we're still recruiting counselors and a couple like arts and crafts and musician instructors. So if you are 17 and above and are interested, we also have room for you at camp. So if you would like more information, you can go to abcmc.org/summercamp or come find me. Thank you.
Please stand if you're able. Birds fly high. Sun in the sky. It's a new dawn. It's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. Open to me the gates of righteousness, that I may enter through them and give thanks to the font of justice. This is the gate of the living God. The righteous shall enter through it. I thank you, for you have answered me and become my salvation. The stone that the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone. This is the mighty God's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day that the Creator of all has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
Now I invite all of the children, except the 2nd through 5th graders, to find your teachers up here at the front. And all of our youth, 6th grade and older, follow Amber to the youth room for Sunday school if you wish.
Hear, O Israel, the statutes and case laws that I am speaking in your ears today. You all shall learn them and observe them faithfully. The ageless one, our God, engraved a covenant with us at Horeb. Not with our mothers and fathers did the ever-living God engrave this covenant, but with us, we who are here today, all of us alive. Face to face did the Holy One of old speak with you at the mountain from the midst of the fire. I was standing between God, whose name is holy, and you all at the time to declare to you the words of the holy God. For you all were afraid because of the fire and did not ascend the mountain. Blessed be.
Thanks, Loretta. Happy Easter. It is still Easter for quite some time, actually. So it's pretty traditional on the Sunday after Easter morning to talk about doubting Thomas. He's the one who didn't believe that Jesus is really back from the dead until he gets to touch the wounds. He gets to stick his fingers in there, and then he's like, oh, wow, it's really you. It's in the Revised Common Lectionary, which is sort of like the group of readings that churches around the world often choose from every Sunday. Some of them it's a little stricter. It's more optional. We preach about what we want to preach about. So it's a good story, it really is. And when I had my first conversation with Diana about today for music, I told her I was probably going to talk about Thomas. But when I actually pulled up the lectionary and looked at the rest of the readings, the one that spoke to me was the Psalm 118. And I realized that as a congregation, we're pretty good on doubts and questions. If you were here a couple of weeks ago when we had our confirmations and our baptisms, you definitely know what I mean. I don't know of a church anywhere that is more open to the many ways of knowing and experiencing or better at holding space for doubts and questions than we are. We've got that one down. It's one of our greatest strengths, honestly. The thing that first caught my eye about the psalm was the fact that Reverend Neighbors, the pastor over at Second Baptist, referenced it in that beautiful letter that he sent our congregation back in February, at the beginning of our discernment on reparations. He wrote, "Whatever unfolds, I firmly believe in the words of the psalmist. This is the Lord's doing, and it is marvelous in our eyes. Because of the challenging time in our nation, where race relations has suffered enormously and virulent racism is on the rise everywhere, is it possible that God has looked upon our small town just west of Lake Michigan, just north of Chicago, and for all of our challenges, God has said a change is going to come, starting here." Throughout this process, that part of the letter has really stuck with me. Whatever is happening here, it is the mighty God's doing, and that is marvelous. A change is going to come, and it's going to come from somewhere unexpected. The stone that the builder rejected, or a little town on a lake outside of a big city. The second ancient witness reading isn't in the Revised Common Lectionary at all, which isn't unusual for here. Like I said, we preach what we want to preach. But I have to admit, it's not one I would have thought of today without Dr. Will Gaffney's wonderful book, A Women's Lectionary for the Whole Church. Y'all, I talk about Dr. Gaffney every time I get up here, so you've probably heard of her by now, but if you haven't, she's amazing. She's a womanist biblical scholar. She's an Episcopal priest, and she writes these beautiful translations, especially of the Hebrew texts, which every time I read them, I find something new, which happened this time too. So when I dropped Thomas, I went to see what she suggested for this week. And when I read this line, I knew it was the one. "Not with our mothers and fathers did the ever-living God engrave this covenant, but with us, we who are here today, all of us alive." God is doing something marvelous, using the people we'd least expect in living, active covenant with those of us who are here today, living now. The past matters, but it doesn't define what is possible now. The covenant that they're talking about in Deuteronomy wasn't the first time that God made a covenant with humans. But that covenant does not define this group of people. They have their own decisions to make. Face to face did the Holy One of old speak with you all at the mountain from the midst of the fire. Things are complicated in this story, the one in the Bible and the one that we're living. Things don't move in a straight, even line. There are stops and starts. Some people do things they can be proud of. Some people do things they wish they hadn't. Most people do both. Even just in this passage, the people don't actually ascend the mountain themselves because they're afraid of the fire, which is valid. I am also afraid of the fire. I would not have gone up the mountain. But that doesn't stop them from being in covenant with God and taking imperfect steps towards God's marvelous thing. Some of the most fun that I've had in the last 6 weeks is talking with y'all about your hopes and dreams and questions and worries about our evolving relationship with Second Baptist and what may come next. Part of that has included wrestling with some questions about what we believe here at Lake Street and what kind of partner we can be. What we believe is a tough one, because we're not a creedal church. You're obviously allowed to believe the things that are found in the doctrinal creeds of some parts of Christianity, but no one is required to for full membership in our community. If we have one unifying belief, it's that no one is going to tell you what to believe. But we do have a really nice covenant. Some of you here probably helped write it, and certainly remember when the church passed it. I have to tell you, when I took a class on Baptist history and polity with other ministers in the region or people who were candidates for ministry, the week that we covered covenants, everyone was super jealous of ours. Because a lot of churches are still using this boilerplate language from like the 19th century, and they never even read their covenant. They don't know what it says. Some of them say like things that no one agrees with anymore, and they just haven't updated it. But the fact that we have a covenant that was written by people still living with us in community and that we read it pretty often and know what it says is really unique. Go Loretta. And it makes sense that a covenant and not a creed is at the heart of this congregation. Not a list of set beliefs, but an agreement of how to treat each other and carry ourselves in the world. We promise to be mutually helpful one to the other, bearing one another's burdens, participating in one another's joys, and supporting the church community that nurtures us all. We promise to make this church a womb of contemplation and action, so as to clarify our vision and strengthen our resolve to act against injustice and for peace. That's just one part of it. And it's maybe not your mama's covenant. Maybe it is. Some of your mothers are here. Mimi, if you're watching, it's your mama's covenant. She's here. I see her. But for most of us, our ancestors and the people who raised us are not here. They probably did some good things and some bad things, but either way, this covenant is ours, and this time is ours. It's still Easter for another 42 days. Yeah, this is the longest season on the church calendar, and probably the most magical. This is a time for believing in the impossible and looking for hints and clues, and maybe even proof that the thing we thought could never happen is happening. Yesterday, it was so nice outside. I hope y'all spent some time outside. I spent pretty much all the daylight hours outside. I did a little bit of weeding, and I helped my wife install our rain barrels. But a large part of the time, I was just walking around the garden, staring at the perennials that came back. I can't believe that these delicate-looking little phlox plants survived the winter and are filling back in and spreading. The lacy black leaves on my elderberry bushes are coming in, and coneflowers that I completely forgot we planted are springing up. There is life everywhere, which you would think I would be used to actual seasons by now. I've been in the Chicago area since 2014. Y'all probably know I moved here from Texas, but I'm still amazed when the spring starts every single year. There's always this part where my friends back in Texas are like posting pictures of their flowers in their gardens and we still have snow on the ground. And I feel like it's never coming back. Everything's dead. This is just our life now. And I'm always wrong. And it's great. One of those times when it is absolutely delightful to be wrong, which happens a lot, especially in a church community. People surprise you in the best ways, and so do plants. Our call to commitment here in a little while, it happens to be Loretta who's reading it, so that works out really well, is going to be the full church covenant. And we don't usually do this with the call to commitment, but I'm going to encourage you to read it out loud along with her. If you feel inclined, think about where the promises in the covenant may be leading you in the coming weeks. Look for the impossible thing and how you might help it become possible. Know that this is the day that the Creator of all has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Blessed be. I invite you now to prepare for our moment of silence and meditation. I forgot to let you know that the ushers will be picking up the prayer requests now. Open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me wisdom for my confusion. Open unto me tenderness for my toughness. Open unto me thyself for myself. All right, I'm going to gather together some of our joys and concerns. One prays for my brother Jamie, who is recovering from a stroke. Prayers of thanksgiving for his spirit to keep up during rehab. Another one prays, although only one of a few more to go, joyful thanks for my friend Suzanne's successful surgery on Friday. We have another prayer, blessings for Joe on his ministry in Ukraine. We have a prayer for lifting of hate in our country. We have prayers for healing for Tammy Cole and getting all of the help that she needs. If you're with us online today, I unfortunately forgot to pull up the service on my phone, so I can't see your prayers, but know that we are lifting them up with you together as a community. Holy One, as we gather these prayers together, as well as all the ones unspoken, all the things on our heart that are bringing us joy or concern or worry at this time, just hold all of those together and bring us that sense of peace and healing that's as close as our next breath. Blessed be. And now is the time for the offering. So I believe the plates will stay at the back of the room. So if you have a physical offering to make, if you're here in person, you can drop those off on the way out. And if you're online, please feel free to go to our website and click on the Give link to do that. Or there's the QR code in the bulletin. Thank you all for your gifts of time, energy, money, and attention to help keep growing our work in the world. May we handle them wisely and do as God would have us do with them. Thank you.
Well, let's read the commitment. We stand together in celebration of the divine that moves among and around us. As a spiritual, our kinship with the earth and all of its people. Our covenant with one another is rooted in the Christian tradition and the living practice of Jesus to welcome the excluded and care for the vulnerable. We are connected by our respect for soul liberty, which challenges us to embody God in the world, each in our own way. We seek to be transformed as we wake to the hidden wholeness of life. We promise to be mutually helpful one to the other, bearing one another's burdens, participating in one another's joys, and supporting the church community that nurtures us all. We promise to make this church a womb of contemplation and action, so as to clarify our vision and strengthen our resolve to act against injustice and for peace. We promise to be stewards of the earth, sustaining it for future generations by cultivating self-discipline and gratitude. We pray together to love justice, act kindly, and walk humbly with God.